All right, folks, this news is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. I will leave a link to the article in the comment section below. And this is a pretty big deal. I mean, I'm not in the acting world myself, but I think that it's safe to say that most of us, even the everyday people who aren't a part of that industry at all, are aware of the advances that AI is, making. And as a result, the entertainment industry is in danger. That was the reason for the strikes last year. To my recollection, after 100 plus days, they eventually came to some sort of agreement where for the next 3 years, at least the next 3 years, AI won't be able to, take people's jobs. Now, in the next 3 years, they will take another vote. But I remember saying like, man, that's going to be crazy because for now they're good until about 2026, give or take. And who knows how far AI and that sort of technology will advance. So if they try to make another deal, then it's quite possible that these big the CEOs and whatnot are like, well, hey, you know what? We're doing you a favor. We're going to offer you this particular deal. And if you don't want to take it, guess what? AI has advanced so much since your last little strike that we don't need you. So either accept our deal or deuces. And Tyler Perry was saying some pretty scary things in this particular article about some OpenAI's text to video model Sora. I haven't done a lot of research into that. I don't even know what it is. I know a few days ago, Will Smith posted a video on his social media where he talked about like, here's a video of what AI looked like last year versus this year. And it is scary. Like the top video, was kind of a deformed face for Will eating spaghetti or pasta. But then the bottom one was like so dang on point to the real guy that it was really scary to see like, ooh, this ain't going to be pretty. Okay, so let me get into the article and then I'll give my thoughts. Tyler Perry puts $800 million studio expansion on hold after seeing OpenAI's Sora. I'm just going to call it Sora from now on, okay? Sora. Jobs are going to be lost. He's raising the alarm about the impact of the tech, saying, I feel like everybody in the industry is running 100 miles an hour to try and catch up, to try to put in guardrails. Now, I've covered this news before. Over the past 4 years, Perry has been planning a expansion of his studios in Atlanta, $800 million to be exact. It would have added up to 12 sound stages to the 330-acre property. Now those plans are on hold, thanks to the rapid developments he's seen in the realm of AI, which includes Sora. It debuted February 15th and stunned observers with its cinematic video outputs. Folks, this ain't looking good. Being told that it can do all of these things is one thing, but actually seeing the capabilities, it's mind-blowing. That's what he said in this interview, noting that his productions might not have to travel to locations or build sets with the assistance of the technology. As a business owner, Perry sees the opportunities in these developments. However, as an employer, fellow actor, and filmmaker, he also wants to raise the alarm. He expressed his concerns about the technology's impact on labor and why he wants the industry to come together to tackle this system. There's got to be some sort of regulations in order to protect us. If not, I just don't see how we're going to survive. Now, at this point, there are questions asked and then Perry gives an answer. After seeing Sora, what are your current feelings about how fast AI technology is moving and how it may affect entertainment in the near term? Perry goes on to say, I've been watching AI very closely and watching the advancements very closely as well. In the midst of this, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for getting distracted. I'm literally reading ahead with my eyes as I'm reading it aloud, and this is crazy. I was in the middle of and have been planning for the last 4 years this expansion of my studio. It would have increased the backlot by a tremendous size by adding a dozen more sound stages. All of that is currently and indefinitely on hold because of Sora and what I'm seeing. I had gotten word over the last year or so that this was coming, but I had no idea until I saw it. The demonstration of what it's able to do, it's shocking to me. What in particular was shocking to you and its capabilities? I no longer would have to travel to locations. If I wanted to be in the snow in Colorado, it's text. If I wanted to write a scene on the moon, it's text. And this AI can generate these things like it's nothing. If I wanted to have two people in the living room in the mountains, I don't have to build a set in the mountains. I don't have to put a set on my lot. I can sit in an office and do this with a computer. It's shocking to me. It makes me worry so much about all of the people in the business because as I was looking at it, I immediately started thinking of everyone in the industry who would be impacted by this, including actors and grip and electric and transportation and sound and editors. And looking at this, I'm thinking this will touch every corner of our industry. And folks, when I'm done, I think there are a few more questions left. I want to go back and give my thoughts because this is some big stuff. Some people who sent me the article said, "Ooh, Tyler's getting dragged online a bit about this particular question and his answer." Are you currently implementing AI in any of your productions and or do you plan to do so in the near future? Tyler admits to using AI in 2 films that are going to be announced soon. That kept me out of makeup for hours in post and on set. I was able to use this AI technology to avoid ever having to sit through hours of aging makeup. My guess is that he's referencing the Medea destination wedding and Joe's college road trip. And like I said, some people are dragging him online for this because the AI means that that's a less makeup artist and whatnot that he needs to pay in order to get this done. Again, I'll give my thoughts on this towards the end of the video after I've done, going through the questions. How are you thinking about approaching the threat of AI and, how this could impact certain job categories at your studio and on your productions? Everything right now is so up in the air. The technology is moving so quickly. I feel like everybody in the industry is running 100 miles an hour to try to catch up, to try and put in guardrails and to try to put in safety belts to keep livelihoods afloat. But to me, just like every other studio in town, we're all trying to figure it out. I think we're all trying to find the answers as we go, and it's changing every day. And it's not just our industry, but it's every industry that AI will be affecting, from accountants to architects. If you look at it across the world, how it's changing so rapidly, I'm hoping that there's a whole government approach to help everybody be able to sustain. That is my hope. And real quick, just to give my thoughts here, when you look at how quickly Tyler Perry gets things done now without AI, and the demonstration he saw and how AI can be implemented, can you imagine how much stuff he would have done via AI? But at the same time, he wouldn't need to pay a lot of, the transportation and whatnot and wardrobe. Makeup artists and whatnot. I think that at the end of and like I said, I really wanted to save this part until the end of the video, but at the end of the day, Tyler Perry is a businessman. And he is probably going to catch flack like any other studio for using AI over actual people. But the crazy part about that is Tyler Perry has been keeping people working for years. So it's just one of those things where if Tyler ends up using AI, and I'm saying this, February 23rd, 2024. Maybe my attitude will change or maybe it won't. But I'll say this much. He has done so much for people in the industries, particularly black people. I don't want people to look at Tyler Perry using AI as a way to dog him out. It's like, man, you're part of the problem. You're over here, using AI to pump out all these mediocre projects, the movies and the shows and whatnot. And that's keeping people from working their jobs. I don't want people to look at Tyler Perry using AI as a detriment and forget about all the good he's done beforehand. So let's say 2025, the AI advances, or actually let's go to 2026, when, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when the current contract in place for actors and whatnot needs to be done again because the contract is done. Now new negotiations take place. And let's say it's 2026, 2027, and Tyler Perry is using AI for a majority of his productions. Like I said, I don't want people to forget everything he's done up until that point. Okay, now back to the article. How would you like the entertainment industry as a whole to confront this rapidly developing technology? What's your message for the industry at this point as we're watching this unfold? As a studio owner, are you feeling any pressure to use AI at this point? How do you think this convergence of the rapid development of AI and the current contraction in the industry is going to play out? Who needs to act? You're speaking up about this, but who else should be speaking up and working on this? Now, you're probably wondering, Jeremy, why did you read like 4 or 5 questions back to back to back? All of these questions are kind of the same thing. I wanted to just sum it up right now. So basically, Tyler says that, yeah, he's one person speaking up. And I know that each union within our industry is individual, but all of these unions need to stand together when it comes time, to negotiate. But the voice needs to be loud, and it needs to be now. Like, all these people need to come together in order to come up with these safeguards, because really it's like the story of John Henry, when it's just like, I don't even want to say the average man, because John Henry was a tall tale and he was like a superhuman. But basically, it's like the common everyday man versus machines. Like, when it comes to the railroad industry, the machines, the steam engines came in and it took, the jobs from everyday working people. And it seems like AI is doing the same thing. So Tyler Perry is kind of standing up like John Henry, but in this situation, he's seen it with his own eyes. And remember, like, he's a billionaire, a studio mogul and whatnot. He's in the entertainment. So he's seen what this stuff can do. And that should let you know right there that if he's like, that is a sign that we need to come together right now. I think one of the craziest parts is when he talks about this Sora system is a real game changer, because if you could spend a fraction of the cost to do a pilot for a series that would have cost 15, 20, or even 35 million, if let's say you were trying to get a show on HBO, the bottom line of these companies would, be about the money, and they will choose the route of lesser cost. So I am very, very concerned that in the near future, a lot of jobs are going to be lost. I really feel that very strongly. And as people are embracing technology in order to reduce cost and whatnot, there needs to be some sort of compassion for humanity and the people that have worked in the industry and built careers and lives. Like, there's some sort of thought for them. And I think the only way to move forward is to galvanize it as one voice, not in Hollywood, not just in Hollywood and the industry, but also in Congress. Because like he said, this kind of technology will impact people across the, the entire, planet, not just in the industry. I think about that sometimes as a content creator on YouTube. Like, they can use my voice or whatever and just do whatever they wanted to create content with it. Like, I know that YouTube around the back half of 2023, they started implementing AI tools, which I myself have not used, but it's just crazy to think about how text to film, like, imagine you just like type something in or you verbalize something and then the AI just creates it on the spot. That is insane. And it would say, and like I said, it will save like these filming studios and whatnot a lot of money, but in the long run, it's going to cost people a lot of jobs. And when it comes to Tyler Perry feeling any pressure to use AI, no, I feel no pressure at all, but I'm definitely looking at the advantages and what it brings to the table. However, I can focus on the bottom line of my studio, continuing to do well and avoid the conversation, or we can all jump in right now and have the conversation head on to make sure that we're protecting everyone, as these advances continue to move forward. So I've got two sides here to this thing. For me, I'm looking at the business side and my bottom line, but at the same time, I'm concerned about all the people that have trained and, bought up in this industry. Oh, sorry. That he trained and bought up in the industry. I'm concerned about what will happen to them. Yeah, I mean, like, imagine you spent, X amount of years paying to go to like film school and whatnot, or you went to like a, I don't know the correct terminology here, like a beauty technician school or whatever to learn about, doing hair and things like that. And you get your degree, you get your experience, and then you get a job and things are going decently well. But then out of nowhere, this technology comes and it's like, oh, well, we actually don't need you anymore because using this AI would only cost us like 20% of what it would cost to have you on set, and doing the job you're trained for. It's like they say, like there are some jobs that can't be replaced by machines, like doctors and whatnot. But granted, I don't know what the next 50 years are going to look like. But I don't know. This is crazy. This is crazy. And I think that at this point, AI is just going to develop so quickly that it's just going to make our head spin. I feel like I wonder when this Sora thing is going to make its way to the general public. I just feel like overall, there's really nothing that can be done unless everybody comes together. But like I said before, when you look at these big wigs and whatnot that signed the contracts with the basically the big wigs that presented the actor and writer union with the contracts last year, like I remember saying then, I bet money that in the next 3 years, they're going to present an even crappier deal to the industry. And if the industry doesn't want to sign, they'll just say, oh, well, and then they'll just use AI for a bulk of everything. And then at the end of the day, it really comes down to the everyday average person, the consumer. If they spend money to support the industry, it's like, oh, I'm not watching this show because AI was, generated about 80% of the production or whatever. It's like, but if it's a good show, would you even care? That's the question. So even though the industry needs to stand together to make a difference, I think at the end of the day, the true bottom line is, will the consuming audience, will the consumers, will they support this kind of product, shows and movies and whatnot that are mainly backed by AI? So like I said before, if Tyler Perry decides to implement AI, you really can't fault the dude, because he's just like any other filming studio out there. And also just the fact that he's done so much for others. Like, there's so many stories about Tyler Perry actors and people behind the scenes that have said, hey, he gave me the experience I needed in the industry, or I got a job at Tyler Perry Studios when no one else would hire me. And, and the list goes on of various reasons why this man has changed lives. So like I said, I just think that from a Tyler Perry mindset, his visions can truly become a reality via this AI. And like I said, we see how rapidly he films things now. There is no telling how much he will pump out if he starts to use this AI. I mean, for me, like I said, hell of a lot of stuff for me to, cover on the channel. And I'm okay with that, so long as I'm able to, continue making my ad revenue. And I mean, you all know, like, the house thing for me is right around the corner. Like, I'm recording this at 8:15 in the morning, and I'm about to run to the bank to make a withdrawal because my dad said, hey, I got a friend of mine who can get these tree stumps and whatnot out, and it will save a few $100s and getting someone else to do it. So I'm about to go to the bank and make the withdrawal so I can have the money ready for that this weekend. And I'm thinking to myself, in the back of my mind, I don't know what AI is going to be in terms of impacting content creators like myself. So my personal goal is to have my house and whatnot, basically have my mortgage paid off in like 5 years or less. So I'm really going to, get my game face on, lock in, and try to come up with some strategies to maximize my income. So I can, like, let's say if it's 2029 and YouTube, I can't do it anymore because AI just takes over or something crazy like that. At least at least my house and land is paid off. So whatever happens now happens. So, that's just my own personal mindset, because I feel for the industry. And I mean, these 3 years where the actors and whatnot won't have their jobs replaced by AI, I hope a lot of them try to get some side hustles going, like whether it be, merchandise or their own podcast or something, because if I were them, I would not bank on being able to make the same amount of money in 2026 that they are now, because this AI thing is going to continue moving forward. And unless they all band together, it's going to be a crazy end of the decade for them. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts on this AI development and how that's going to impact not just Tyler Perry Studios, but the industry as a whole. And like I said, I didn't want this video to be this long, but this article covers some pretty deep stuff.